wing of the Republican Party that has undone Sarah Palin and not backed her even when she was vice president, running this wonderful war hero, John McCain. If that wins, and that is the wing of Henry Kissinger that did so much harm to Israel when he was Secretary of State. It's the Rockefeller that is the one that is behind the CFR that has controlled nearly always the Secretary of State and much of the media. If that wing wins, we will have a moderate Republican candidate for the presidency, and even if that president wins, they will bow down, like George Bush did, to the interest of the world, and especially of the oil-rich nations. 4 hours of the King in Crawford Farm with George W. Bush turned him, snowed him to come out just before the September 11th is the two-state solution, which even Rabin, who was not the rightist, said a Palestinian state is only possible, this is Rabin speaking, on the ruins of the state of Israel. It will, for the devil is grinning, he has nearly all the nations, and there's only a part of the Republican Party that is willing to withstand it. So it was so right what Douglas said to us, Douglas Mitchell, that we have to win the battle first with the Christians. We have to tell them that you know, he said we have to be willing to speak out. I felt 3 months ago to write 4 Bible verses to nearly all the ambassadors of all the nations in the United Nations. And we send it to everyone, per email, that if they would, as nations, as representatives of Denmark, of Somalia, vote for the division of the land. I said, you may say this is a nitwit who tells this. I said, you can think what you want, but I want to be on record to every representative, or nearly every representative of the United Nations, that if you will vote for the division of God's land, which is the Palestinian state, God says that the nation that will divide his land will be judged by him. And whether you laugh about it, I want to be, and I felt I had to warn them. And when Douglas just said, you have to go and says, Lord, what can we do? And I want to make it easy for you. If sometimes you don't know what to do, we often know what to do, but we cannot do it because we don't know the means. So at least be clever to strengthen our hands in your name to be a blessing and a warning to the nations. You know, it was so clever. I don't know if you saw it. There were so many Norwegians this feast. And Norway, according to the Israelis, is nearly the most critical nation to Israel. And the Christians this year from Norway, I don't know how many hundreds there are. We have some nice, I have the nicest ones, of course. And they know that I love Norway. Actually, I had a head with Norway and Israel. And sometimes I've said I would not mind to become a Norwegian, just to, but they have lost the battle at the moment. Because when Breivik came and killed about 90 socialists in the island, where all those that hanged on the nose of Israel, the Oslo Accords, that were leftist, atheist, liberal, socialists, whose children were there when Breivik mowed them down, it brought such a disgust among the Israelis to any rightist conservative party that the devil could grin and says, all these Norwegians that love Israel and will walk the streets yesterday here have no leadership because the leadership has been tainted like Sarah Palin was with the murder in Arizona. It is because of the rightist influence that such things happened, the killing of the Jewish congresswoman. So that has happened also in Norway, and you feel your rise. So I wrote to Siv Jensen, the leader of the Conservative Party. I love the woman. And she was so, I mean, she had to say, but we are not agreeing. Yes, but for some months, Breivik was part of the Fremdlingsparti. He came from you. And so the devil had won, because the devil, if he has you on the defense, he's the accuser. You says, oh no. And I don't know what has made Sarah Palin to say no. That a Republican that I phoned her says, I'm so concerned. He says, you are 100% right. I told him, I says, please try to get to him, get to her. He says, it's an arena of gladiators. And there's a part in the Republican Party that lets the Christian candidates come. And they have their 2 or 3 weeks to speak. A little talk against abortion and abortion. And then they finish them off. And they will decide that there will be a modern Republican that they can handle. The Kissinger, Rockefeller. You, come from a family that knows these things. And I just pray, as your father was a top CIA and you, I hope to see you quickly. Robert, your husband, knows more than most people here. But you have now heard enough to say, Lord, I'm saying it now, bind up that evil spirit in the Republican Party, that your person, in your mercy, will come out and still win over all these connivers in the Republican Party and make the American people for a change wise.